Hey guys, it seems to be a lot of people struggling at the moment with TikTok in particular, complaining about low views, 0 views, less than 200 views, or like a significant kind of drop in views. And even hearing people saying that it's like a glitch in the platform, or like it's just being kind of like widely accepted that TikTok is kind of coming to an end. And I'm here to tell you that's basically not the case at all. I'll put up a few like screenshots now. These are, in one case, a brand new account, and these are other results coming from repurposed content. All repurposed content is not organically uploaded, and we're able to achieve, in a lot of cases, higher views using repurposed content for both our creators and our clients compared to people who are posting this content and creating it organically. And I'm going to show you today how we actually do that, as we're releasing 3 tools that are literally part of our workflow. It's nothing new for us here, by the way. These are tools that have been part of our work for close to a year now, but the AI content generator is a few months, and the TikTok Uniqueness checker is a new tool for us, which has been able to achieve much better results. So this is a dashboard that we've now made available. Like, we've turned all of this essentially into a service. We can start off with the unique content checker. This is a tool that we have built. It took quite a long time to put this together by reverse engineering the TikTok, not API specifically, but using their method of how they detect duplicate content being uploaded to their platform. So we hear people all the time talking about metadata. By the way, metadata isn't what is going to make your video go viral in this industry for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. It's just like a buzzword that is kind of thrown around all the time. But metadata is not the most important thing in your content at all. It's literally just information attached to any single file. It's nothing of significance. So instead, what we have built out is a tool that actually uses the same way that TikTok is detecting duplicate content, and you can even test metadata on this, making variations in metadata. You'll see that it makes no difference at all. And what we do here is we can compare content, and I can say testing model A with rotation applied, for example. And here we can go and choose 2 videos. I'll come into my downloads, and this doesn't just work with our tool, by the way. So whatever you're using to generate like unique videos, for example, these were done in CapCut. I can go and pick this variation and upload it, and I can pick a second variation. I can't remember what one's what now, but I think this one was like a FPS variation perhaps, or zoomed in. So whatever type of edits you're doing, whether it's in CapCut, in Topaz, or FFmpeg, like whatever you're doing for making unique content, you would upload the original video here, which is the video that has no edits applied to it at all. It's just been downloaded from TikTok. And then you would upload the modified video here. So this is the video with your variations applied to it, whatever those variations may be. Again, you can do your variations in any platform. And this tool is then going to go and compare the difference between the 2 different video files. There's a number of different ways that we're doing this, but essentially it's going to give you an output score, and the higher the score, the better. Now, I also just want to clarify, TikTok and other platforms, the kind of industry benchmark for detecting unique content is it needs to have less than a 20% similarity score, which means it needs to be above 80% within our dashboard. So this is a test that I did earlier. This is me uploading the same video. Of course, it's a 0% uniqueness. This is 2 variations, where it's only a 46% difference, which you may think sounds very high. It's actually not. For something to be treated as unique content by TikTok, it needs to be above an 80% difference. So a lot of the variations that we were using, for example, turned out to be not that unique at all. Ones that we expected to be quite good, to be completely honest. It turns out TikTok is detecting it as duplicate content. So we need this score to be above 80% in order for something to be treated as unique content. And again, it also doesn't mean that if something is completely unique that it's going to go viral. Quite a big thing, and I'm just going to give you a little tip here. The reason a lot of you are also getting low views at the moment, if you're doing unique organic content, it is often going to be due to like the proxy or IP address or VPN or strategy that you have for creating the account. I can assure you TikTok hasn't died. We're still doing incredibly well on it. In fact, our accounts are the reposting accounts are performing better than ever. So it's definitely not a case of like TikTok has come to an end. It's a case of you need to refine your strategy. If you're doing reposting, I suggest you to run whatever strategy you were doing for editing your content and repurposing it, run it through the unique content checker, and this is literally going to give you an exact score on how unique your content actually is. So we have a saying in the UK, which would be throwing shit in a wall at a wall and hoping some of it sticks. And of course, some of it does stick. If we make enough variations, some of them are going to get views, and we can assume that's good. However, there are a ton of other like variables at play, right? In terms of the trust score of the account, the IP address, what the device was on, the warm-up strategy. Did you do something that caused TikTok to flag your account? There's a ton of all these different things that are at play. And so you could kind of get mixed up, and you upload a video and it doesn't go viral, and you assume that it's because the content was a duplicate, but in fact it could have been any number of 100 other things that you've kind of slipped up on during the account creation process. And now you can literally be 100% certain this is exactly what we have been doing to make sure that we're uploading unique content before anything goes onto TikTok. So it saves a ton of time. It also reduces accounts getting flagged, because once you are caught uploading duplicate content, we're quite sure it affects the trust score of the account kind of going forward. So yeah. Next up, we will go on to the AI generator. So here we are generating a unique video. One thing that I will say is I suggest you to comply with all of the local laws of wherever it is that you're based regarding using other people's material and copyrighted content. So in this case, if you're downloading videos of another creator, you should have their permission or talk to them first and check with the local laws and guidelines and regulations in whatever area you're based in. I don't want anyone coming crying to me saying that they were using some viral model's content and they were getting sued. However, another really interesting way to use this, because that would be the obvious way I think most people will go to use this tool. The other great way to use this is to make edits of your creator's face, and you can even use it on her own content, where you can kind of make her look much younger. You can apply whatever filters you want in Facetune and then just face swap her out. It literally works very well. Otherwise, if you are using it on viral creators' content, of course, make sure that you have their permission to do so. Anyway, how it actually works. So just a few quick things for you before. This is going to work best on videos where the model's face doesn't kind of move all the time. If there's no sudden movements, it will work best. Also, when you're giving us a picture of the model to face swap onto the creator, make sure it's a high quality picture of your creator. If it's a low quality picture, that is what is going to get put onto to the face of the video, and it's not going to come out well. The other thing is when you are using other creators and putting their content onto and putting your model's face onto their content, make sure, but try to use creators that have a similar body type and similar hair, because the only thing we're swapping is the face. The hair will remain the same. We come in here to generate video, and I'm going to do a Jennifer Aniston face swap model photo. And so then all you do here is we grab the TikTok URL of whatever video it is that we want to face swap from. Here's an example one. I'll just press paste video, submit. That will then be added in. It's added to the queue and it will start processing. Depending on how many videos are being generated at once, it takes between 5 to 15 minutes. At the moment, it should be about 5 minutes. It will be much faster. But I've actually done this test already, so you can actually see the results here. You can see Jennifer Aniston's. Let's get my face out of the way.
Money, that Gucci Prada girl, be my sugar daddy.
Jennifer Aniston's face on there. And of course, like I said, because the hairs are completely different color, it's just something to be aware of. Once it's generated, you can just press download content and it will download it locally onto your machine. And I'll just leave that kind of running there. Like I said, we don't need to sit here for 15 minutes whilst that generates. But now you can literally generate as much unique content as you need to. We've also been doing testing different like facial expressions. So like I mentioned, we can use various different face swap photos of our same creator, making her look younger, making particular edits on her, and then turn one video into like 10 different variations. Then we will run it through the mass content generator, and then we will run it through the content checker after that, just to make sure it's completely unique. And then all of the ones that are unique, they then get uploaded and posted. So that is how you can generate unlimited content using AI generated content and making sure that you don't get flagged for duplicates. Next up, we are going to then figure out how we can turn one video into a load of different variations. Technically, you can do as many variations as you want, but we've limited it to 10 through the interface. So again, I will do example. So I'll just do the same video as before. So these are our like variation presets. I'll actually highlight some of the best ones after. I'll add that into the software. So I can choose, let's blur the border, and that will be one variation. Then I want to make a new variation. So that for every variation you select, it's going to make a new video with that effect applied. So now we're going to make another video that has rotate right, and we're going to mirror the video. We're going to rotate it left, and we're going to trim the end of the video. We can do a few more variations. So this is quite a high rotation of 12, and I can just select some random ones. You can select up to 10, submit it, and that is all going to run. This one generally takes like a minute to a minute and a half to run to generate like 10 unique variations. Once it's done, we can just click in here, just press download content, and this will give us a zip file that contains all of the files of the content that we've generated. So now that you are able to generate unlimited unique content, the next problem that you are going to have is distribution. How do you distribute all of this content? So right now we are able to solve this problem. Like we have our TikTok and Instagram Reels reposting services. This is done manually by our team in Georgia. From real phones, from physical devices. Many other people also have like their own setups as well. So of course you can use the content yourself and simply scale out yourself and build out your own team. But another announcement that we have to make, I think an even more exciting one, is we are about to release a remote control devices farm. So instead of you needing to acquire tons of devices or build out a physical team, I do quite a lot of consultation calls now with people looking at getting advice from me on building out physical teams, on hiring people, on managing everything there. Because it becomes quite a big factor, you have to pick a good country to manage a team in. Whereas what we're now doing is making all devices completely remotely accessible, so you can have your VAs in the Philippines log in and remotely control our physical devices that have a USA IP address, USA SIM card, USA GPS, USA iCloud, USA everything, and you can manually use them remotely. Something like the equivalent most people will be aware of is something like TeamViewer. This is completely custom built, but if you think of TeamViewer for iPhones, for mobile devices, when it's not emulators, it's not any of these are physical phones that we have built out custom remote control software for, that is also used by our team, that will also be appearing in the dashboard that I just walked you through as well. So you will literally be able to rent a device with everything set up in the USA, and we'll be looking at doing other countries as well. It's also not just limited to TikTok, so you're essentially renting a device. You can do whatever you want on it. You can set up TikTok, Reels, reposting, YouTube Shorts, dating apps, literally everything that you want can be done. So we're also trying to go into like solving the infrastructure problem that a lot of people deal with, because it is hard to manage a lot of devices and a team doing it as well. It kind of just gets messy. So this is the solution that we have been using internally. in order to solve that. So our devices are all plugged in on phone racks, no one touches them, no one moves them, and our team is able to just remotely control them and upload all content. Sorry, that's the other thing as well. You can just drag and drop content onto the device as well, which we don't think we've seen anyone do before. Again, everything was custom built, so you can just drag and drop a TikTok video onto the phone, and it will then be on the device for you able to upload to TikTok. The other question I often get a lot as well, which I feel is just worth answering just for just to kind of be transparent, is why do I want to release these tools to the public if they're working so well for us? And it is a good question. The reason that we're releasing this as a software is, number one, it doesn't mean that we stop using it. So our revenues still remain exactly the same from us doing this. There are people who outsource to our team. We handle all of the reposting for them. We do everything, and that is the solution that they want. They don't want to be kind of hands-on managing the funnel in any particular way. We just manage everything for them. But then there's another kind of set of customers out here that perhaps they're not interested in the reposting aspect. They have their own farm set up already, but they're interested in solving the editing content, or checking content uniqueness. They're interested in one aspect of the tools that we have, and that's completely fine. That's exactly what this is for, so they can kind of pick and choose which tools that they want to use. So it has no real impact on us. It's not like we're stopping our service at all, or even we're just opening up to a broader market by opening more products. And the other reason is, I think most people are kind of aware now, but I mentioned this many years ago. It's the reservation I always had about the OF industry is the lack of kind of value in exiting the company. And given that I've kind of exited companies before and it's always paid off pretty well for me, I always looked at running an agency as it's like a cash flow business. It's for generating cash. However, for looking at getting a $10 million, $20 million valuation for it and selling it in 3 to 5 years, I think you would be delusional to be aiming for that, unless you were working solely with huge influencers. But then again, it's not the fact you're running an OF agency. So the reason is that I feel the OF agency are heavily undervalued. So I still operate an agency myself as a cash flow generating business, and it does very well for me. However, I'm also very interested, and also I think most people know me from my software background, building out automations and things like this. They know that I'm very deeply interested in the tech side of things. My background is also in SaaS companies, and it's kind of where I guess I'm most comfortable operating. So it's for both of those reasons. Number one, my background is SaaS. I really enjoy working in SaaS. But it's also the valuation thing. It's very much something I would be looking to grow to a high monthly recurring revenue, and in 3 to 5 years down the line, hopefully get a very healthy valuation for it and look for an exit. Other thing to mention is the other reason is that I genuinely the happiest that I've been thinking a lot is, not to get too philosophical on this video, but one thing I think about a lot is what am I happiest doing. As I think about more and more, I now have more and more freedom in my life, complete kind of financial and location freedom. So you kind of get to choose what it is you want to do that makes you happy. And I enjoy spending as much time as possible in a flow state. So I'm sure most people know what flow is already, but it's kind of a state of immersion within your work where you just kind of lose track of time, where you're very deep into solving a problem. It can be a technical problem, it can be anything. People can find flow states in anything. A lot of musicians, I think they'll find a flow state when they're playing an instrument, for example. I find it when I'm building things, when I'm it doesn't matter where I am. I can be on a plane, I can be in a cafe somewhere, I can be in my apartment, I can be wherever. I just headphones on, just listening to music, building something that is actually being created in front of me, whether it's bots, whether it's software platforms like this, whether it's something else. I really, really enjoy making things. So to make a platform such as this, where we're going to continue adding in new tools that we build internally, building out, for example, specific feature requests if we feel that they're very good, and if we test them ourselves and they're working well. I plan to turn this into kind of like a centralized toolbox, like a marketer's toolbox, and also not just limited to like the OF industry, so moving outside of the OF industry as well. There's a ton of people who need help with TikTok and short form content distribution. If you just scroll through your YouTube feed, I'm sure that all you come across is creators, whether it's Andrew Tate, whether it's whoever, creating short form content and distributing it. So these kinds of tools are also very useful for anyone such as that who... There's a ton of businesses who need kind of tools for short form content distribution. So again, I'm not just limited to short form either. Like we plan just on releasing a ton of different tools that we use ourselves, that we use internally for our teams, and then just releasing them on a platform to make them publicly available for anyone to use. So yeah, any questions? As always, feel free to leave a comment down below. Yeah, thank you for watching.